Minasan, konnichiwa. Thank you very much for coming here today. So, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport has been around for coming on 10 shows now in the United States. Coming this April in America with Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. The idea was to take wrestling and strip it down to its most raw, most pure form. You can see wrestling in all types everywhere around the world, with lots of gimmicks and flashy antics and lights and explosions, fireworks, you name it. But in my opinion, the wrestlers get lost in all of the circus of everything around it. So with this event, I go back to the way I was trained as a professional wrestler, trained by Antonio Inoki, Billy Robinson, Carl Gotch, trained as a shooter by Eric Paulson, Matt Hume, and many others, to distill this to its purest form, its most raw. The wrestler is the most important thing. The mat is a sacred space for wrestlers to compete and show their highest level of strength.
そしてですね、ここで、ブラッドスポーツに関する新たな発表がございますので、ジョシュ選手よろしくお願いいたします。
Yes, so the reason why I am here in Tokyo is not just to spread the word of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport to everyone here in Japan and to promote our upcoming, or I should say my upcoming Bloodsport 10 event in Philadelphia, but in fact, it is something bigger than that. And that is, I am bringing Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido to Ryogoku Kokugikan on June 22nd here in Tokyo.
さあ、ここでブラッドスポーツ武士道に出場が決まりましたこの選手に登場していただきます。鈴木みのる選手です。よろしくお願いいたします。鈴木選手は2019年の4月に行われましたブラッドスポーツジャージーシティ大会に出場されまして、女子選手と25分間時間切れドローの熱戦を繰り広げられております。それでは鈴木選手よりブラッドスポーツ武士道に出場に向けた意気込みの方をいただきたいと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、意気込み、このブラッドスポーツというのは実は第1回大会から参加してまして、まあ俺から言えるのは、はい、ただの普通の1試合だと思ってます。別に、特殊なルールであろうが、どこの場所であろうが、それがたとえ走る列車の中であろうと、原っぱであろうと、なんだろう、有刺鉄線のあるリングの上であろうと、どこの場所であろうと、俺にとったらただの一試合なので、はい、って感じかな。
ありがとうございます。改めてですね、ジョシュ選手の方から、ブラッドスポーツのルールについての、お話もお聞きしたいと思います。
So one of the things that differentiates us from other professional wrestling events is that we do not use any ropes, and you can only win by knockout, referee stoppage, or submission. In this way, the ring is not really a factor in the performance to succeed or to lose for the wrestlers. They cannot use the ropes to break a submission attempt or a hold. They also cannot use the ropes to climb them, use them to gather speed or power. It is just up to the wrestler themselves. But it also creates a bit more of a dangerous arena in that you can fall or be thrown off of the ring itself. So you need to be very aware of where you're at and your surroundings, like any real fighter must.
はい、ロープがない、それはロープがないだけであって、はい、でルールでこういうのは禁止、こういうのは可能だ、それはそういう状況なだけであって、俺にとったら別にそれは一試合なんで分かんないよ、何持ってくるか分かんないよ。そこにあるものすべて俺は使うので、それが俺のスタイルなんで。
For me, it feels natural that Suzuki-san should be a part of this. He has been in many of our events in America. He has the pedigree and the legacy as a professional wrestler, as a MMA fighter. He is everything that we want to emphasize in this kind of event. But most importantly, more important than any technique, any titles, or any experience, is the spirit of the athlete. And Suzuki-san has the kind of spirit that belongs and one must have if they even want to be able to be a part of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Well, we are professional wrestlers. Pretty much anywhere, anytime, any place, there's always a possibility for rematches or first matches. So, never take someone like us lightly. At the moment, we are just simply looking for the strongest fighters and professional wrestlers around the world. Anybody who thinks that they have what it takes to step into this sacred ring and face somebody of the highest level of spirit and skill. That's all we need to produce an event like this. But as you can imagine, there's far less of those than you might think out there in the world. But if you think you're capable of it, reach out to us. Maybe you fit the bill. Maybe you're strong enough. A match with Suzuki-san is always something I enjoy, even as difficult as it may be. However, we have done that already. So in the sake of this new event, it's a possibility, but there's a big world out there. And perhaps there are some bigger, greater, or more interesting challenges out there for both of us. As to who exactly, nothing has been determined yet fully, but you can guarantee that they are going to be something exceptional.
こうね、いろいろ皆さん聞いて、これをどう捉えるか、これはね、新しいスポーツなのか、新しいこういう見せ物なのかとか、いろんな思いあると思うんだけど、俺の中では、鈴木みのるのプロレスの一つの形というふうに、思ってるんで、俺が誰と戦いたいかよりも、誰が俺と戦いたいかだろうな。俺が誰かをチョイスしてお願いしますという立場じゃないよ。俺は誰が俺と戦いたいかっていうやつが中から俺はチョイスする側なんで、なめんなよ。
When it comes to the athletes, I want to find somebody that has that special spark, somebody that stands out not just for their accomplishments, but for their spirit. There are strong athletes all over the world, and many that would be completely new to professional wrestling. Sometimes they are the ones that can make the biggest impact. Everybody is unknown to the world until they step into that ring. And with this show, I can show exactly who that person is with such a presentation as we have here. I want to find that kind of athlete, and I'm scouring all the different combat sports and athletic endeavors that I can to find that person. As for what kind of event do I want it to be? I want it to be I know it's going to be an event with the strongest in the world. I know it's going to be an event that is like nowhere else and done by nobody else. But the main thing is I wanted to catch the hearts of all the fans when they watch it. I want to bring extreme anger or extreme sadness or extreme happiness. I want real emotion to be felt by what they see in that ring. Well, firstly, this is not UWF. This is different. Second, do any of those promotions have me booking, producing, or competing? No. Then it is not the same. No one can do this but me. This ring is only made by me. There was one version before by Matt Riddle. That is not this show. That is another show. There is only one Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. And there can only be one because there is only one Josh Barnett. It's as simple as that. We are not recreating UWF. That would be impossible. That era was amazing, and it is, I would say, important towards not just who Suzuki-san is and who I am, but to a lot of fighters and pro wrestlers in the world. But that cannot be recreated at this moment. So I make it my way, as only I can. And therefore, you will not find this anywhere else. Other people in America have tried to do events that look like this. It's not the same, and it never has the same impact, and everybody looks at it as a copy. But this cannot be copied because you need me to make it. Well, I always wanted to bring an event to Japan, the place that helped make me as a fighter and as a professional wrestler. It's important that I could put something together here. It also allows me to much more easily access a lot of the Japanese athletes that are available too. But mostly, it's for the fact that so much of who I am as a fighter was born here, that the energy of what made me was born here, that my coaches like Inoki, Billy Robinson was here, Carl Gotch made his name here. It's important that I come back to what made me and bring something in return. As for the timing is when the sights line up, then you pull the trigger. And then no time before it and no time after it. And that's how you hit your target. Yes, it's actually, I have a lot of feelings about it being in Ryogoku, not just for all the fights and matches that I've had there, but all the combat sports events and all the major experiences and incidents that have all been at Ryogoku. And the fact that Ryogoku was built for combat sports, even if it was sumo, this is all combat sports. The spirit of a place like that goes into the event itself. And in that way, we carry on that tradition. Yes, I think it's impossible for it not to, but that's also part of the reason to do it itself. I want to bring that flavor, that spirit of the Japanese athlete and Japanese pro wrestling and Sogo Kakutogi into this event here, centering it in such a famous and powerful place as Ryogoku Kokugikan. And I couldn't think of any better way to do it. Oh, I'm well aware of Nakajima-san. I knew him when he was just a 17-year-old kid in under Sasaki-san's guidance in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Obviously, he's grown up in pro wrestling and Kakutogi. I guess the question is, does he think he has what it takes? Does he feel strong enough to go to this ring? Winning the Triple Crown is definitely a great achievement. But this is not the Triple Crown. This is not All Japan. This is a completely different animal. So, if he wants to, we have a ring. But he has to show that kind of fire first. And easy to say, but when the opportunity arises, it takes a strong man to step forward. I think he could do it, but I can't speak for somebody else.
あ、どうぞ。
俺が思うにそんなに敷居高くしない方がいいような気がするんだけど、日本中に約1000人ほど プロレスラーと名乗る人たちがいて、で世界中に何千何万というプロレスラーがいて、あと格闘家もいて、別にデスマッチファイターで俺出たいっていうやつがいて、面白ければ別にそれで俺はいいと思うし、ただ何もないんで、ロープもなければリングの上にアイテムもないから、よりスキルは求められるっていうことぐらい、一応経験何度かしてるんで、多分日本人の中では一番経験してる方だと思うんで、そんな印象がこのリングにはあるから、だから出たいっていうやついたらどんどん手挙げりゃいいと思うし、ぜひ推薦をしたい選手もいるしね、はい、こいつ出たら面白いなっていうのはいりますよ。
どうですか、今改めてね、鈴木選手のお言葉を聞いて、女子選手は。
Well, that's the right attitude, and I'm never surprised with what Suzuki-san has to say. We go back a long way. We've spent a lot of time training and competing against each other, but he's right. This is an open ring. If you have the guts, if you've got the strength, show up. Otherwise, just sit back and watch. And ultimately, this isn't about being a competitive ring against any other promotions. This is about a ring where anybody from any promotion can have a wrestler step foot. It's about the wrestler. It's not about anything else other than that. The wrestler and this ring. And in this ring, that wrestler can shine in a way that they cannot display themselves, they cannot shine, they cannot show themselves in another ring. And that's why we're here.